Welcome to Scout the Pages and a new video series where we read monster and shifter romances together. Today we are going to be reading a shifter monster romance, but I don't know which one because my toddler is going to be choosing for us today. I have put together a bunch of books that I have on my shifter slash monster romance list on Goodreads and put them into a Notion database with symbols that represent each book based on the monster type and based on what toys my child has. I am into shifters, but I have added monster onto here to kind of expand my comfort zone. In episode 2 of this series, I'm going to have my daughter choose between Dragon Actually and the Kraken's Sacrifice, so stay tuned for that. That'll be very interesting, and for those ones I have very interesting activities to go along with it. That'll be in episode 2, so check that out if you are interested. For this one we have a shifter romance featuring a bear shifter, and we have one featuring a lion shifter. These are from the same series, book 1 and 2, although I believe they are standalone, so I can read them in any order I want. We'll see which one she picks. I'm hoping she picks the lion, but it is book 2, so I'm kind of hoping she picks the bear so that we can go with book 1. I cannot find a lion stuffed animal anywhere for the life of me. I know she has a dog and I know she had a lion, but I cannot find them. So I am going to use a little blue raccoon and her little bear Squishmallow. We'll see which one she chooses. She loves making decisions. Let's go downstairs and see what she says.
But do you want me to do the bear or the raccoon?
The bear.
You want me to do the bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bear. Okay.
And we're back. So she chose the bear, and I'm kind of excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I'm more of a lion girly than I am a bear girly. Let's download the book on the Kindle. Oh, okay, so here's both books. For this video, we are going to be reading Blackstone Ranger Chief. I know, crazy. The cover of this is also like incredibly wild. I don't know if it's AI generated or something, but his skin, there's something off about his skin. It might just be that they're trying to make him look hairy. I'm not sure. Incredibly nervous for this. I also have put on the side, as you can see, 3 activities per book to do so that there kind of is a little more of an aspect to this. I'm not just going to read the book, I'm going to do activities relating to the book. So let's look, let me check on my Notion to see what this book requires. So for this book we have, number 1 is write a poem that incorporates bears in some way as a theme. Okay, that'll be fun. I have a poetry book. We could do some poetry together. We have enjoy a honey treat and read at night all cozy in the reading chair. Maybe I'll make some honey tea. We'll see what I can find. And number 3 is make an inspiration board, or like an aesthetic board, I guess. So that'll be fun. Let's see where this goes. Also, I apologize for the sound of my voice in this clip. We have colds in this house, so I'm still getting over a cold. We're gonna try to do all 3 of these things and read this book over the next few days. Thank you to my child for picking my monster romance. Okay, so let's get started reading. Today the kiddo is having a gardening day with her grandparents, so she is away, which means we can probably have the honey treat and reading all cozy tonight after she's home and in bed, because she'll probably be pretty tired and go down kind of early tonight. Let's get started. I'll take you with me over the next few days. I'm very intrigued about this book. It seems to be a runaway bride situation, because it literally in the synopsis says a bride walks into a bar, and like that's not a joke. So the narration also seems very interesting. I don't know anything about this book. I'm kind of nervous. Wish me luck. Let's get started. I'll update you once I've read some more.
One day I feel alright. The next I'm looking for the light, for the light, for the light.
Hello friends. So I was sick last Friday. It is now Tuesday and I'm sick again. I was only healthy for Monday. I went from a sinus infection to a cold. I don't feel good. I took a bath tonight with mint and eucalyptus and lavender. I'm having some tea right now because I can't breathe through my nose. I look awful, I feel awful, and I feel like I'm only getting worse today. I woke up feeling not good, and then it's not gone well since then. It's just progressively getting worse. So I'm going to sit in bed. I'm going to read the book. I'm gonna get started on it, and I'm gonna put an ambiance room on the TV. This vlog is kind of sad, and it makes me sad that the first one I am ill during, but hopefully I don't finish the book while I'm sick, so we can do some fun activities later on. Anyways, happy reading. Okay, so it's been a hot minute. I will completely admit health got a little precarious, but I am now 85% of the way through. This is the first book I'm ever reading by Alicia Montgomery, and this is the first book in the Blackstone Ranger series. I just binged about 60% of this the other night while in the bath, having a little tea right now, tangerine energy, and I am no longer excited for the second book, and I'm not loving this so far. I say so far as if I haven't read most of the book by now. There is probably no way that this book is going to pull an ending that is going to change my mind based on my issues. So I'll talk about it at the very end here, but I'm sitting at like a 2-star, 2.5 stars if I'm feeling generous when I do my call pile. I'm not having a hard time reading it, thankfully, and it is extremely short. We'll see if I even give it a 2, to be honest. I'm gonna put it through call pile. This is one of those books where I'm going to leave it up to the call pile gods because I'm just not sure. So I will update you when I'm done, but I do want to update you on our activities that I've been up to. So the first one is to write a poem involving bears. I wrote a little poem involving a bear for my eclectic pagan witchcraft spirituality Instagram account, jasmine.circle. So follow me there if you're interested in little tidbits of spirituality that I'm trying to implement in my life regularly, but posting is helping keep me on track for that, and I don't post super often, so I apologize, but it will get better with time. I will read you the poem. I will also put it up on the screen here if you'd like to read it with your eyeballs. The poem is called To Bear the Unknown Cold. In depths of slumber, 'neath the frost's embrace, she cradled life within her sacred den, a mother's heart with tenderness and grace. In silent vigil, far from eyes of men. Through barren winter, with the snows unfurled, she nurtured hope in shadows, dark and deep, a bond of love amidst a frozen world, where dreams of spring in whispered echoes sleep. But as the thaw unlocks its icy hold, she stirs her spirit heavy, burdened low. With the weary steps, she leaves the warmth of old to face the unknown where wild winds may blow. A silent ache within her weary soul, a mother's journey takes its heavy toll. So I wrote that basically about a mother bear coming out of hibernation, and if you don't know anything about bears, they have their babies while in hibernation, and they get them to little cubs by the time spring comes, and then they emerge together. And I just wanted to highlight kind of the struggles of motherhood and early motherhood, and how you look forward to getting out after that hibernation, after that baby is first born, but then you are terrified of the world, of having to take care of this new life, and then leaving all of a sudden seems really scary. So I was just kind of showing the contrast, the contradictions, the complicated feelings of motherhood through a bear. I specifically wrote this for the spring equinox, and I haven't shared it quite yet on Jasmine Circles. I will be sharing it probably the day that this video goes up, actually. So that is my little poem that I wrote. Additionally, I did read most of this book at night by candlelight in a warm, bubbly bath. That was lovely, and I'm so glad I did that. It was probably the only thing that kept me reading this book so quickly. I probably wouldn't have gotten through it, to be honest, if I wasn't like stuck in the bath and just like, well, I'm here, so I'm just gonna keep reading. I only have a little bit left. I'm hoping to finish it out today and give you my final update tomorrow. The last thing we have on our little to-do list is creating an aesthetic board. I will probably just do this in Canva today. Okay, so I have now done my collage for this book, so I wanted to share it with you. I will put it up on the screen. This was a fun book, I will say, to make a collage for, even if I'm not thoroughly enjoying the book. I think there's a lot of unique imagery going on in the book. That's a positive in my mind, I guess. I, as you can see, did a little cabin because he likes to live in isolation, the love interest, I guess. And then we have Damon, who's on the cover of the book. We have his bear, which I've added above, an angry looking bear because it's his demon or whatever. We have the main character here. I did her as the bride at the bar, which is the first chapter of the book. I did a bunch of money above her. If you've read the book, you know. I'm not gonna spoil it. I did a bunch of women doing yoga because the main character ends up like becoming a yoga instructor at some point in the book. I don't know. And then I did army tags because he was in the special forces. There's a pie in the bottom left corner because they eat pie a lot in this book. There's a diner that serves pie. So much pie in this book. And then I did a desk situation of a person doing like secretary style working, and as you may know, the main character is the secretary of Damon. There you have it. That is my collage that I've put together. I think it turned out pretty cute, actually. That is my collage. That was a lot of fun to make. It definitely made reading the book feel more worth it, so I'd recommend that if you're not enjoying a book and you're worried about a slump. Maybe make a collage or something on Canva. That was a lot of fun. I've also been drinking honey tea. I don't think I've mentioned that, which is really funny, but in my first clips when I was sick, drinking tea in bed while reading the book, that was a honey tea. Let me go get the box and show it to you. So I've actually, while reading this book, been making myself the Sleepy Time Honey Celestial Seasonings tea. And I love it because there is a bear on it. I have been enjoying this tea when I am reading the book. You will have seen me drink tea several times throughout this video, and it was all this tea. I just forgot to mention it. I thought I was so clever drinking tea that is honey and also has a bear on it. Life happens, you forget things. That's it. We have now completed all of our activities. The last step is to complete the last like 10% of the book, which I plan to do today out in the garden. I know I'm supposed to read it at night all like cozied up, but I've done that 3 times now. It's okay. I'm gonna read in the sunshine, which is kind of part of this book on its own, and I will get back to you with my final review. Okay friends, I've officially finished the book. I'm going to give it 2 stars, I've decided. Here's my final rating on Compile if you want to just quickly see the rundown, the basic top levels. I obviously did not enjoy this book very much, and that's okay. I've got my honey sleepy time tea here in my little mama bear mug. So cute. Yeah, so this book, just every aspect of it was just not super well executed. I think the idea is great. I was hoping for something like the Ranger series by Daisy Prescott, which was really good. I really enjoyed that series. I thought it was really well done. Let's talk about what I didn't like about this book. To start, the covers are really bad. I don't like the covers. I looked at the rest of the series and they're just not very good. No offense to the creator of the covers or anything, but I'm just not a fan of them personally. Second, the characters. Very flat, not very interesting, especially the love interest. He was so uninteresting, and I get that he had this like big traumatic thing that was supposed to be his personality, but honestly, it was built up way too much and it was revealed and I didn't feel great about it. He's the one who probably had the most character, so that's really disappointing. The main character, she didn't really have any personality whatsoever. She could have been any woman ever put in that situation, and she was super sensitive, which is fine, you can be sensitive, but I personally would have found it more interesting if she fought back at Damon, was a little spicier with him when he treated her poorly. That leads me to the relationship, the romance, awful. Just flat out awful. The author does not earn the reader's trust in that relationship. It does not get validated throughout the book. The book is extremely short to a fault. It is not quick. It feels like it's not fast, and it's extremely short, and it skips all of the important steps of character development and relationship development. The characters go from absolutely hating each other. He's making her cry, saying sexist things to her, just blatant misogyny in her direction, and she is taking it in as he thinks she's the scum of the earth and he hates her, and she internalizes that, and within a single sentence, and I mean a single sentence, they're making out, and not in like a sexy way. It's not like, oh, they're making out and the tension was built. No, she was sobbing before that. She's like, what is happening? But I'm into it. After that, she's like, yeah, but he still hates me. So like, that was weird. And he says, oh, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me, after they kiss. And she's like, okay, so he does actually hate me. That sucks. And then the next time they speak, he doesn't explain himself. He just trauma dumps everything on her, says, you're my mate and we're meant to be together. That's it. And then she's like, I've loved you all this time. None of it made any sense, okay? Just to summarize, I could go on about this book forever. It didn't make any sense. None of it was validated through the actual book. The writing was not good. Everything was tell, not show. I just don't think the writing was very good. The atmosphere wasn't very good. I didn't feel like I could see what was happening. It's a beautiful landscape opportunity, a beautiful opportunity for just amazingly poetic and beautiful visuals, even if in accessible language. But we didn't even use accessible language well. We just got very simple writing with no craft or skill behind it. It's just random statements to tell the story. Not that it needs to be super amazing or anything, but it just at times felt really bad. Like there was this particular quote describing snow as just white stuff. I'll put it up right here. This quote in particular just like made me pull out of the story and gawk at it, I guess. Maybe it's the editor in me. But even as a non-editor eye, reading that sentence feels bad as a reader. That reminds me, the first chapter and the synopsis on the back has a very interesting writing style, and it makes it seem like the narration's going to be quirky. It is not. It is not. Do not let that synopsis fool you. A bride walks into a bar, and that's not a joke, is probably the funniest and most interesting piece of syntax that came out of this book. I was not impressed. If this book had come across my desk as an editor from a client, I would have quickly had many notes to give and many criticisms and many resources to improve upon the book. I think this book needed some heavy editing, developmentally, copy editing, line editing, a lot. It needed a lot, and I think we needed at least 5 more chapters. At least. There was opportunity, there is potential. I wouldn't have told the client to go away, but I would have been like, you have a lot of work ahead of you, friend. There are so many books that this author has written. I have one more, which is The Charmer, that I will likely read later down the line in this series if it can randomly get chosen by my toddler against another book, but I am not looking forward to it. Ultimately, all of the bad stuff about the book wasn't worth it for the romance, because the romance wasn't good. I've read many books that the writing wasn't great, everything was kind of flat, but at least the smut was good. It shucked my corn. You get the drift. This didn't even have good smut. It wasn't interesting. I wasn't into it. I was like, I mean, I guess it's happening, but I'm not feeling anything. Ultimately, I'd say this is a pass for me. There are so many better shifter romances out there that aren't as hard to read and actually are worth some of the stereotypes in the genre. Not that I have like the highest of standards for shifter romances. I think they do their job very well. I don't think they need to be masterful pieces of literature. They do have an accessibility to them that I respect, but this was lower than that. This was poor writing, not accessible good writing. I will get off my soapbox now. I am going to go finish my tea in my bear cup. I am glad I got to enjoy some honey teas. I'm glad I got to have some cozy reading sessions by candlelight. I'm glad I'm not sick anymore. And I am so glad to have put together a collage that I think turned out pretty cute. I'll put it up again one more time. Ultimately, there's some good imagery going on for like an aesthetic board reason, but I just don't think any of these things were done well in the book in execution. So I will likely read Charmer at some point in this series. Anyways, thank you so much for coming with me on this journey. I'm sorry I got sick in the beginning. It was really bad. To clarify, it was not a cold or a sinus infection. It was a new viral infection that has popped up in the United States, and it ended up sticking with me for like 3 weeks. It was a lot, and I lost my voice, and I have never been so sick with a respiratory issue. I had to get antibiotics, and I never get on antibiotics. I've had sinus infections my whole life. When I tell you I've had like 100 sinus infections, that's not an exaggeration. I've had a lot of them in my life. Never once have I had to be medicated with antibiotics for that long. Whatever it was that got me so bad, and I was sick for weeks. So happy that I took a break from the book, because one, it wasn't good, so it wouldn't have brought me joy during that time, and two, you get to see me not dying. That is my final review. Once again, I will pop up my final rating, content warnings, and everything on the screen here. I would not recommend this book personally, but if you are interested in it, you can get it through the link in the description if you want to support my channel and my family. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to continue on with this series, and hopefully we have some more interesting books to read in the future instead of whatever this was. Not a great start. The next episode, episode 2, will be between Dragon Actually and the Kraken's Sacrifice, and those are both books that I'm very excited about, and I've already read part of Dragon Actually. I put it down because I went into labor and had my baby in the middle of reading it, so I need to pick it back up, so I know it's unhinged. I've already read like half of it. It's unhinged, my friends, so I will have a lot to say, especially with a clear mind, not pregnant. And then I have read the first book in this series, the Demon Bargain series by Katie Roberts, and I didn't hate it, and I actually found it to be quite enjoyable, although I wouldn't go around recommending it to people. So I am very interested in the Kraken Sacrifice, so we'll see which one my child picks in the second episode, and we'll see what happens on my reading experience. But I know for a fact it will be better than this one, because it'll be at least cringe in a fun way. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 2, my friends. Get Kraken.